Hey guys, it's Algo1993 here, and it's time for Duel 36. I'm facing TRIP101 in this duel, and if I win this, I'll get over 1,000 rating. Awesome. Also, this is a deck request video. A deck requested to me by the person I've been facing the most so far in these duel videos, junkberserker112. He requested that I'd use a Gladiator Beasts deck. I faced quite a few before, but I haven't tried to make one myself yet because there's so many archetypes and other types of decks that I could make. So I don't really have time to make everything, but I'll do the deck requests. So I did, and I think it came out really well. After this video, I'll be making the the deck profile. You'll be able to see that right after the duel is over. Alright, my opponent TRIP101 is using a Chaos Dragons deck, so a deck with dragons and, well, Chaos Sorcerer, Blackluster Soldier, Envoy at the beginning, obviously, otherwise you're not going to have Chaos Sorcerer in there, and Light Pulsar Dragon. Don't know if Dark Flare is in there as well, haven't seen it, but yeah. Gladiator Beasts, what separates them from the others is that they have a certain effect that if they, during the battle phase, if they attack or are attacked, and they're still on the field at the end of the battle phase, you can return them to the deck to special summon a different Gladiator Beast. And when a Gladiator Beast is special summoned by the effect of another Gladiator, if a Gladiator Beast is special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster, they gain certain abilities. Like Retiari, the first one that I summoned, when it's special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster, it banishes one card from the opponent's graveyard. Gladiator Beast Laquari increases its attack points to 2100. Now, something else that the Gladiator Beasts have, they have something special with their fusion monsters, because they don't fuse with polymerization, or dark fusion, or whatever fusion cards you could think of. These Gladiator Beasts use a method of bringing out fusion monsters just like the Neos cards, Contact Fusion. Instead of using a spell like Fusion Gate or Polymerization and sending them to the grave, they instead are all sent back to the decks so that then the monster is summoned. The monster that is summoned mostly this way is Gladiator Beast Geyserist, which is Gladiator Beast Bestiari plus another Gladiator Beast. And when that one's summoned from the extra deck, you can destroy 2 cards the opponent controls, which is very helpful. And when that card is attacks or has been attacked in the battle phase, at the end of the battle phase you can send it back to the extra deck to summon 2 Gladiator Beasts. In this duel I went for Retiari and Laquari. Now, here comes this deck's strongest card. It's a triple Contact Fusion using 3 monsters. It requires Gladiator Beast Laquari and 2 other Gladiator Beast monsters. I went with Retiari and Hoplomus. It's the Gladiator Beast's strongest card, and it doesn't really have a special effect when it's summoned, but during either player's turn, when a spell or trap is activated, you can discard 1 card from your hand to the graveyard to negate that spell or trap and destroy it. Yeah, and this is all he had left. Kinda unfortunate for him, but see you later, guys. And then suddenly we were in the deck. How the heck did he do that? Editing! Oh my god, Alka can do that! No, I just recorded this after the last one and just stuck it in Camtasia and boom, it was together. And I just uploaded it as one file. Not that difficult. Alright, guys, here's the deck profile for the deck request that junkberserker112 made. The Gladiator Beast deck, which I named Gladiator Arena. Alright, first off, I have 2 Elemental Hero Prismas. Prisma is very helpful in many kinds of decks that use fusion monsters, because Prisma can reveal 1 fusion monster from your extra deck, and then it's Geyserus or Heraclios in this case. Send 1 monster listed on that card to the grave, so in Geyserus' case, Bestiari, and in Heraclios' case, Laquari, send that card from the deck to the grave, and until the end phase, Prisma's name changes to that monster's name, so it can be treated as Bestiari, or Laquari, so that instead of those monsters, Prisma can be used for the contact fusion of those monsters. Here we have Gladiator Beast Bestiari, very helpful Gladiator Beast monster. There's a reason he is limited, because when he's special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster, you target one spell or trap card on the field and then destroy it. One Gladiator Beast Darius. It's a strong one, 1700 attack, and when it's special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster, you can target one Gladiator Beast monster in your graveyard and special summon that target, but its effect is negated by Darius, and it is shuffled into the deck when Darius leaves the field. I have a little combo with this card. When a Gladiator Beast is in the graveyard, or there is, well, you can do it in two ways. I'll explain the way that I've already done twice. There's one Gladiator Beast on the field, which is not Bestiari. Bestiari is in the deck. So, this one. I summon Prisma. Use its effect to send Bestiari to the grave. He copies Bestiari's name. Contact Fusion for Geysers. Destroy two things. Attack. In the end phase, at the end of the battle phase, I use Geysers' effect to summon any Gladiator Beast plus Gladiator Beast Darius. Darius' effect can then special summon a Gladiator Beast from the graveyard. If Laquari is in the graveyard, go for Laquari from the graveyard. If Laquari is not in graveyard, summon Laquari as the second Gladiator Beast along with Darius. Because then you have Laquari, Darius, and one other Gladiator Beast. And in your main phase 2, you can then triple contact fusion into Hoplomus, which is very helpful. I already explained the effect in the duel. I have two Gladiator Beast Equeste, not exactly certain how to pronounce that, but when he is special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster, you can target one Gladiator Beast card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So at first I thought, Darius is better, because it special summons it. No, not necessarily, because Equeste says Gladiator Beast card. And I was confused by this when my opponents did it. A Gladiator Beast card, which means it doesn't need to be a monster. So this one can be added as well. A very helpful counter trap, Gladiator Beast War Chariot. I'll get to that in a bit. I have two copies of Gladiator Beast Hoplomus, the defensive wall of this deck. And when it's special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster, instead of 2100 defense, its original defense becomes 2400. There's three Gladiator Beast Laquaris in there for two reasons. One, because it has high attack, and when it's summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast, its attack becomes even higher, 2100, and it is the necessary material for Gladiator Beast Hoplomus, this deck's strongest card. I have one Gladiator Beast Murmillo, not exactly very strong, but when Murmillo is summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast, you target one face-up monster on the field and destroy it, which can be very helpful in taking care of any strong monster the opponent might have. Retiari, you've seen me use that effect twice in this duel. If I don't really have any Gladiator Beast that I really want to summon, I usually summon Retiari to banish a card from the opponent's graveyard. I have three Test Tigers. When you control a face-up Gladiator Beast monster, you can special summon Test Tiger from your hand. And during your turn, you can use its effect to target one Gladiator Beast on your field. You tribute Test Tiger, shuffle that targeted Gladiator Beast into your deck, and special summon a Gladiator Beast from your deck. It can be the same one. It doesn't say it has to be a different one. And that new Gladiator Beast you summon is treated as if it were summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster, even though it was Test Tiger that did it. That way you can get rid of let's say Equeste that you have in the field, special summon Test Tiger, put Equeste back on the deck, and then let's say summon Bestiari to destroy one of their spells and traps. That's all the monsters I have. Not that many, it's 16, but I feel I'm doing fine with that. I have one copy of Book of Moon. Can flip the opponent's monster to face down defense position. With the ignition priority gone, it's even more helpful. Darkhold to get rid of all the monsters, should be clear. Two copies of Forbidden Lance. because sometimes I don't want my beasts like be mirror forced in the face or dimensional prisoned or whatever. This way they're unaffected by those cards. Dark hole as well, and they can continue attacking or at least stay on the field. Gladiator Proving Ground. If you play it, you can add one level 4 or lower Gladiator Beast from your deck to your hand, which is quite helpful in my opinion. It's unfortunate that it isn't called Gladiator Beast Proving Ground, because then it could be retrieved with Equeste, but wow, okay. Heavy Storm, clear what that's for, destroying all the spells and traps. Monster Reborn to get a monster back from the graveyard. Usually my Gladiator Beasts don't enter the graveyard that often because they return to the deck, but sometimes they do enter the grave when the opponent destroys them, or I can just summon a card the opponent has if the opponent has a strong monster in the graveyard. Happens decently often. Then I have 2 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon to get rid of spells and traps. 1 copy of Smashing Ground to destroy one face-up monster the opponent controls that has the highest defense. I have 2 copies of Bottomless Trap Hole. When the opponent summons a monster with 1500 or more attack, that monster is banished. And with the Ignition priority gone, this one is even more helpful than it already was. Now, one of my favorite cards of the deck, Gladiator Beast War Chariot. In the current metagame, there's a lot of decks that require monster effects to work properly. And when you control a face-up Gladiator Beast monster, which I do very often, when an effect monster's effect is activated, as long as I control that at least one Gladiator Beast, I negate the activation of the effect monster and destroy it. So no Kaiba Man, so no Mystic Tomato, no Gores. Gladiator Beast War Chariot is a counter trap, so it can be used in a damage step when Gores goes off. I have Mirror Force to destroy all the attack position monsters the opponent has. Solemn Judgment to counter loads of things. Solemn Warning, same thing. I have 1 copy of Starlight Road to defend my monsters, but mostly it's my spells and traps. And that way I can bring out a nice Stardust Dragon, which is very helpful. And it also, when an effect is activated or a spell or trap is activated that would destroy a card in the field, you can tribute Stardust, negate the activation of that card and destroy it. But since it wasn't properly synchro summoned, because it was summoned by a trap instead, you can't special summon it back to the field with its effect. I have 1 copy of Torrential Tribute to destroy lots of monsters, again with Ignition priority gone, a little more helpful. And then I have Waboku. And usually you would run something like Negate Attack over Waboku, or Threatening Roar, but then the opponent can't attack or you negate the opponent's attack. The Gladiator Beasts, I said it already, their effect activates when they attack or have been attacked. If you play Waboku, you don't get damaged and your monsters aren't destroyed either, but they have been attacked. So at the end of your opponent's battle phase, when you play Waboku, you can still play the Gladiator Beast's effects, which I see as very helpful. Right guys, that was the main deck. Now we're going into the extra deck. I have 1 Gladiator Beast Esadari, which can be summoned, Contract Fusion summoned with 2 of any Gladiator Beast monsters. Haven't used it yet, but could help. 3 copies of Geyserus, because it's awesome. 2 copies of Heraklinos, already explained how that works. 1 copy of Stardust Dragon. And I don't use the Xyz monsters that often, but I do have them. 1 Zen Mains, 1 Leviar to get a banished monster back, 1 Leviathan Dragon, an Acid Golem if you really need the pure power, but the fact that I can't special summon while it's on the field, yeah, that kind of gets in the way, but sometimes you really do need pure power, so then I do use it. Here I have Maestroke the Symphony Djinn. Once per turn you can detach an Xyz material from it to flip one of the opponent's attack position monsters to face down defense, and if it would be destroyed, you can detach an Xyz material instead. I have Utopia, and a rank 4 Xyz that almost everyone with Xyz monsters used, can negate attacks. Violent D Sigma needs 3 level 4 monsters, and it can equip an opponent's effect monster to itself, very helpful. And finally I have Evil Swarm Ouroboros, which has 3 different effects which can all be very useful, but it's usually this first one that really helps. In the side deck I have one Elemental Hero Stratos. I don't have it in the main deck because it's not that useful in Gladiator Beasts, but it can search for Prisma. I have one more Darius, just in case I feel like the special summoning is helpful. I have 2 copies of Gladiator Beast Secutor. It's level 4, but it really doesn't have that high attack. But if it's special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster, at the end of a battle phase, of any battle phase, yours or your opponent's, where it attacks or was attacked, you can special summon 2 Gladiator Beast monsters from your deck, except Secutor. Good for two reasons. Well, Secutor doesn't return to the deck. It stays on the field. So you could technically use its effect again next turn. And you can special summon 2 Gladiator Beasts with it, and not just one. Which I find awesome. That way you can get out Laquari and one other, and then boom, Heraclinos at the end of your own turn, or at the start of your turn. This can be very helpful with cards like Waboku. Defend it, use its effect, get out Laquari and one other, boom, Heraclinos. You could also go for Geysers, see what you like, but I don't have it in the main deck because it's not that strong, and it requires Waboku to work well, or it requires another Gladiator Beast to take care of all the opponent's monsters and then attack directly. Could also work, but I haven't used it in my main deck yet, but as I've said, it can work really well. I have Gorz, the Emissary of Darkness. Should be very well known to the meta players. 3-dimensional fissures to counter opponents' decks that need monsters in the graveyard. I have 2 copies of the equip spell Gladiator Beasts Battle Archfiend Shield. You can only equip it to a Gladiator Beast monster, and if the equipped monster would be destroyed, this card is destroyed instead. And when the equipped monster is returned from your side of the deck, your side of the field to the deck, so for its own effect or for a contact fusion, Archfiend Shield is returned to your hand instead of being sent to the graveyard. I have 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army, with which I can add a warrior from my deck to my hand. But as you can see, none of the Gladiator Beasts that I have in my deck are warriors. Secutor isn't either. Only Stratos and Prisma are warriors, so only if I really put those in will I consider it. 1 copy of Shrink to half the opponent's original attack until the end phase when they attack. That way, 1, I will win the battle, and 2, my monster will have been attacked and I can use its effect to return it to the deck and special summon a new card. A 2nd copy of Smashing Ground in the side deck. I have 1 double tag team. You can activate that only when you successfully special summon a Gladiator Beast monster, so when it's not negated. That way you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Gladiator Beast monster from your hand or deck. So you get an extra one. So you can immediately go for a contact fusion like for Geysers or Heraclinos. And then finally I have 1 copy of Trap Stun, which negates the effects of all other trap cards on the field during that turn. I have that instead of Royal Decree because I have lots of traps myself, and Royal Decree would just screw me over. So Trap Stun, I'll use that during my turn to make sure the opponent can't do something like Mirror Force or Torrential Tribute or something like that. But I do prefer using Forbidden Lands because that's usually more helpful because lands also defend you from spells, and it can be used during the turn you draw it. Trap Stun can't. Alright guys, this has been the deck, the duel and the deck profile for Gladiator Arena, the deck requested by junkberserker112. I believe I will see you in the next video. And junkberserker112, your request has hereby been fulfilled. If you wish, you can just make a new deck request in the comments below. Make sure to post it in the comments below or send me a PM on YouTube. That way I can check it back if I forgot what the deck request was. And guys, if you have a deck request for me, go ahead and do it. I still have 2 going on, a Spellcaster Lockdown and Lightray. Spellcaster Lockdown, I'm really trying different decks, but I really am not having much success with what I want. Not really working that well. But the Lightray deck, I've been waiting for Lightray Grepher to be, its effect to be released. I'm not exactly sure if it's on here yet. Lightray Grepher, yes, Lightray Grepher's on here as well. Because I was waiting for Lightray Grepher to make my Lightray deck, which I will be using now. Alright guys, that'll be it for this video. This is Alka193, and I'll see you in the next video.